if you're looking to update your home from the Tuscan trend or the gray trend, or you just don't want any beiges, you try the off-whites, it's just not working out, then I highly recommend trying out Benjamin Moore White Down. It's a light soft cream. It's not too creamy, it's not too yellow, but it's not too light either like Benjamin Moore Mascarpone or Sherwin-Williams Dover White. It's got just the right depth, and if you pair this correctly with warm fixed elements, it can be a classic and timeless as the trends come and go. So what I want to do today is show you what makes Benjamin Moore White Down a cream, and then I'm going to compare it to some other cream paint colors so that you can see what makes it unique. And then I'm going to share with you some valuable tips on what warm fixed elements and cool fixed elements pair well with Benjamin Moore White Down, and a few trim paint colors that I love to pair with Benjamin Moore White Down. The first step on selecting the correct paint color for your home is to identify the type of fixed elements that you have. Do you have cool fixed elements? Do you have warm fixed elements? And then what are the undertones of your fixed elements? This is so important to get right. This is often the biggest mistake that most people make, and I don't want you to make this mistake. So I'm going to use the kitchen as an example of what I'm talking about, because the kitchen is the very first room I go to in every client that I help, and I help thousands of clients every year, and there's a reason why I get it right every single time, because I'm honing in on the fixed elements. Is it warm? Is it cool? What are the undertones? And then what's the interior design layout? What type of lighting do they have? So on and so forth. So having said that, let's use the kitchen cabinets. Let's say that your kitchen cabinet is an off-white. Maybe you painted Benjamin Moore Chantilly lace and you were thinking about painting your walls with Benjamin Moore White Down. That's not going to be a good pairing, because what's going to happen is going to make White Down look creamier than it really is. Why? Because your cabinets, they're too white, they're too clean. It's not a good pairing. Instead, what you want is to look for a kitchen cabinet that's creamier, warmer, or more earthy. For example, Benjamin Moore Natural Cream, or even Benjamin Moore Edgecombe Gray. Those are really good choices. But when it comes to flooring, that's another factor that you need to be mindful of. So for those of you that have stained flooring, it's brown, and you have just a little bit of a red undertone, don't be surprised if Benjamin Moore White Down looks a little bit creamier. Also, that little bit of cream and white down is going to be a little bit clean, and it's going to pull out those red undertones. Instead, you want to look for something that's a little bit earthier, a little bit creamier in terms of cream paint colors that will pair really well with those stained red floorings. However, if you have white oak flooring or you have a really good neutral brown flooring, then Benjamin Moore White Down is going to be a good pairing. When it comes to kitchen countertops, Benjamin Moore White Down is pretty flexible. You can pair it with off-whites, you can pair it with creams and beiges and taupes and even grays. So there you have it. I hope that gives you a better idea of what I'm trying to convey to you on why it's so important to compare Benjamin Moore White Down with the fixed elements that you have in your home. Next, I'm going to show you what makes Benjamin Moore White Down a cream, and then I'm going to compare it with some other cream paint colors so you can see why it's a little bit different than a lot of the cream paint colors out there. Before I show you the undertone of Benjamin Moore White Down, I just want to share with you a question that I get asked all the time, and this might help you. Is there such a thing as a cream that doesn't have any yellow undertone? And the answer is no. All creams have a yellow undertone. So that's just something to be mindful of. And if you're not a fan of yellow undertones, then a cream paint color may not be the paint color for you. All right, having said that, watch what happens when I compare this with Benjamin Moore Oxford White, which is considered a true off-white. Watch this. When you compare White Down with Oxford White, you're going to instantly see the yellow undertones. Now watch what happens when I compare this with Sherwin-Williams Alabaster, which is considered a creamy warm off-white. Watch this. When you compare white down with Alabaster, you're going to notice how white down is creamier. The yellow undertones are more pronounced. And notice how Alabaster is light and bright. It looks like an off-white, but you see a little bit of a yellow undertone. But the key thing that I want you to know, what makes a cream, it often has a little bit more tint and a little bit more tone, and is softer, and it's got a little bit more yellow in comparison to an off-white paint color. Now I'm going to compare Benjamin Moore White Down with some other cream paint colors to help give you a different perspective of just how light and how warm Benjamin Moore White Down can be when it's compared to other cream paint colors. Now watch what happens when I compare this with Benjamin Moore Ivory White, which is considered a cream. Watch this. When you compare White Down with Ivory White, you're going to notice how White Down is creamier and it's a little bit darker, a little bit warmer in comparison to Ivory White, as Ivory White is lighter, a little bit less of a yellow undertone in comparison to Benjamin Moore White Down. Now watch what happens when I compare this with Sherwin-Williams Aged White, which is considered a cream. Watch this. When you compare Aged White with White Down, you're going to notice how Aged White is warmer, is slightly darker, and it's more creamy in comparison to White Down, as White Down is lighter, a little bit less creamy than Sherwin-Williams Aged White. Now watch what happens when I compare this with Benjamin Moore Spanish White, which is considered a cream. Watch this. When you compare Spanish White with White Down, both of these creams are almost identical. For those of you that are looking for a cream that's just a touch, a feather lighter than White Down, Spanish White is your answer. Spanish White is just a little bit lighter. It's got a little bit more of a yellow hue to it, as White Down is just a touch warmer and a little bit more muted than Spanish White. So what you need to know about Benjamin Moore White Down is that it's considered a light cream, but it's not too light like Benjamin Moore Mascarpone or Benjamin Moore Cotton Balls or even Sherwin-Williams Dover White. It's got depth. It holds itself really well in both north and south facing rooms as long as you pair it correctly. So please get a paint sample. Pay close attention to the type of fixed elements that you have in your home. I want you to get this right. I don't want you to make a costly mistake. For those of you that want to get it right the first time and you want to get the right paint colors that pair correctly with your fixed elements and your interior decor, and then it holds itself well depending on the type of lighting that you have in your home, I highly recommend you go to my website. I can help you with both interior and exterior paint colors. You're going to get a chance to book a live video call to speak with me, not anyone else. And I'm going to tell you what will or will not work in your home. And then the following morning, you're going to receive a detailed color kit, which is basically a fancy PDF. And I'm going to tell you everything that you need to know. And you're going to have the confidence knowing it doesn't matter which paint colors you select, you know it's going to work in your home. And please read the reviews. I have over 575 reviews. See what clients have to say. I would love to help you. Next, I'm going to share with you just a few tips that you should know about Benjamin Moore White Down. I'm going to share with you 3 warm off white trim paint colors that pair really well with Benjamin Moore White Down. If you're looking for a trim paint color that's going to give you a lot of contrast, it's not going to be cold or stark like Benjamin Moore Chantilly Lace, highly recommend trying out Benjamin Moore Simply White. Benjamin Moore Simply White pairs beautifully with Benjamin Moore White Down. It's got just a touch of warmth. It's a beautiful contrast. But if you're looking for something that's a little bit warmer than Benjamin Moore Simply White, highly recommend trying Benjamin Moore Steam. Benjamin Moore Steam, when you compare it with Benjamin Moore White Down, it's got just a little bit more creaminess to it. But again, it's light and bright like Benjamin Moore Simply White, but just a touch warmer. But if you're looking for something that's just a little bit creamier than Benjamin Moore Steam, then I recommend trying out Benjamin Moore Cloud White. Benjamin Moore Cloud White is considered a creamy warm off-white. I love the transition with Benjamin Moore Cloud White with Benjamin Moore White Down. If you found this video helpful, please put a like. Let me know. I want to hear from you. And if you want to get the most in-depth paint color reviews that you can't find anywhere else, highly recommend you to subscribe to this channel. I would love to have you here. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.